Have you ever wondered if it's possible to go from just a regular employee to a top 1% business owner? In this video, I'm going to break down the cash flow quadrant from Robert Kiyosaki and explain to you how to go from this employee to all the way to a self-employed and then to business owner and then to an investor. So there's something called the cash flow quadrant. Excuse my line, who cares? So you have an employee, E. Then you have self-employed. Excuse me. So you have employee, self-employed, business owner, and then you have investor. I promise you I'll upgrade the stuff as we go, but there's no point of procrastinating. The video needs to be out. So, employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor. I used to be an employee. I used to work at, my first job was Little Caesars. I was flipping pizzas, and I was making flipping pizzas money. And flipping pizzas money is because it was $17 an hour. Or actually back then, I think it was minimum wage. It was like $14 an hour. So I only got paid that much money because I was replaceable. And the value I was providing was only $14 an hour. So in order for me to go from employed to self-employed, I have to now work for myself and provide enough value by myself than I would in a place like that to make money as a self-employed. And sometimes you can make more as an employed than you can as a self-employed. And in each of these, it works just like that, except for when you get to an investor. When you get to the investor level, you're bound to make more money than all three of these because you're not trading any time. You're using your money to make more money. So how did I go from employee to self-employed? So my first self-employed gig was construction. I started working for my uncle, and that led me into understanding the trades: electrician, plumbing, roofing, general contracting, and all of that stuff. Just you just learn everything. Like you learn everything. Tile, you learn hot mop, you learn everything. And in order for me to go from employed to self-employed, I basically just created I created a business based off of idea that I got from working at a job. So I was an employee at Little Caesars. Go to the next job. Say I went to Walmart. I didn't get any ideas. I was just working. Next job, I go to warehouse. Just working. I'm playing football still in the side. Football's kind of okay, but I'm not really competing the best because I'm giving half my time to a job to provide for myself and half the time to football. And you know, when you're splitting your time, you're just doing one of them less than you can do. Like, because I can't spend the other time that I'm working on my craft because I'm at Stater Brothers or Walmart or Taco Bell, wherever that place is for you. So now when it's time to get out of the craft and go get extra work, I can't. I gotta go clock into a job. So you're splitting your resources. So I eventually go work at a solar job. And one of my friends, he actually owned a solar gig. And I started working for him with solar jobs. And I would go and I would inspect the house and wait for the inspector for the city to come. And then I would just unplug or undo some of the stuff for the main panel and just basic electrician stuff. So when I was self-employed and I'm not working a real necessarily to one job, I'm just working for myself, I was making more money than I was as an employee. But I still was limited because I didn't have enough leverage. So then I moved on to a business owner. How did I go from a self-employed to a business owner? I went from necessarily working for someone to then working for myself and for my company. And until I remove myself by creating better systems, and I have to do a lot of the grunt work because I'm only 22 years old. I own 2 companies right now, and that's not good as well. And I learned that later. You're not supposed to start 2 different things. You should only start one thing. I have an in-person solar company that I own, and then I have an online fitness company that I own. Both of them are very lucrative. The solar company takes more overhead, like way more overhead. Online is way more scalable than in-person work at the moment. This can change. Everything changes. This is 2024 December as we speak of this. So I was on the roof and I seen solar panels that are dirty. and we're installing the solar panels because I'm working for a solar panel team. I say, hey, these panels are already dirty. There's no one who cleans them, and that doesn't like mess up the efficiency. They're like, oh, no one cleans them, and yeah, it actually does. And they get dirty the next day as soon as we install them. I was like, wow, so no one cleans them, and they're dirty before we even leave, and they're supposed to be brand new. Like, imagine you get your car and it's dirty, and you got to go straight to the car wash. Like, but once you cleaned your car, it started paying you in gas. That's essentially what solar panels do. So it's not only going to be clean, but it starts paying you back because they boost more efficiency. So overall, you'll make more money. And if you don't take care of your solar panels, you actually get charged at the end of the year called a true bill. And most solar owners don't even know about this, which I did. So I'm like, okay, I just sit on it. 6 months go by, I see somebody say pressure washing, $300 a job. I'm like, if I could make $300 a job, and I make just 4 jobs, that's $1,200 a week. I'll be at like $5K a month. That's halfway to 6 figures. And I was only 21 when I started the company. It just made 1 year of me being in business. I was in business December 9th, when I got the EIN in my name, and the DBA. So December 9th, I got the business license, and 1 year in business, I probably generated around 5 figures in revenue. Low 5 figures, but it's still good on my first year of business because I'm only 22, one, and I didn't have a lot of experience. I didn't even understand profit margins. So I didn't end the year negative, which is great. I have a customer literally tomorrow, and they're going to pay me $299 for probably an hour's worth of work because I've now got the efficiency, and it's an annual client. So that means next year when it comes around, they'll pay me again. So because I created an offer that was able to retain customers. So yeah, I only generated 5 figures in revenue, but I also have 4 figures in revenue recurring next year. So the goal was basically to have 6 to 7 figures recurring in around 10 years because I'm playing the long game. By 32, it's going to be a wrap. But it all started from being an employee at another company and working self-employed to have the opportunity to be working for multiple. I was basically an independent contractor in a way. I was basically like an under-table independent contractor because I have no license or anything. And I didn't find out till later that you're not supposed to necessarily work on electricity stuff unless you have your journeyman. Because I started looking out when I was owning this company. I started researching, and I found out that you're supposed to have your journeyman to even work on stuff. But luckily, I didn't work on especially stuff, anything by myself. I always had people who were licensed. And I was just their helper because I didn't know how to do stuff by myself specifically to learn. I start the company, and I start off with the first thing I knew. I went to one of the jobs for the solar guy, and I said, hey, I work for another company on the side, and I basically clean solar panels, and it boosts your efficiency. He's like, what? Oh, I've been looking for solar cleaning. It's dirty. Doesn't it boost your efficiency? I said, yeah, it actually does. He was like, when can you do it? Can you do it today? I'm like, I don't even know how I'm gonna clean them, and I'm booking the deal. And I'm like, nope, can't be today, because I'm working for this job. But on the weekend we'll do it Saturday. So it's like maybe Wednesday at this time. So I now have Thursday, Friday, all the way till Saturday morning to figure out how I'm gonna clean his solar panels, and exactly how I'm gonna get there as well. Because I have a car, but the car and the material isn't gonna fit because I had a regular car. I just had like a white regular Infinity car. It's a four-door G25. You guys can look it up. It's a nice car, but it's like 10 grand, but USD. But it's not gonna fit material. At least in what I was thinking. I was thinking I'm gonna need like a whole bunch of stuff. Because when I was looking online the night before, I seen a whole bunch of people with a whole bunch of material. So I then go to my uncle because he's in construction, and I pitch him the idea. I said, hey, I got this idea. This is what I think it could be. And he's like, okay, it sounds pretty dope, actually. All right, tomorrow we'll go get some stuff. So literally the next day he went out, spent like $300 on the water jug tank to hold the water. He spent about $50 on like just like necessities that I needed, like just little stuff and trinkets. And he spent another like $40 on filling up the water for me because we needed to fill up the water, and we used his truck. So total cost was like $500 for everything, to get like the gas for the day, the everything. So we go out the next day, and he was like, mind you, we're already locked and loaded. He has another client who has solar. He's like, hey, I actually have a client who has solar. Come over here. He's at a job and I'm at his house. He's like, come over here, come talk to her. So I'm like, okay. I go talk to her. I go to the client. I'm like, hey, well, he introduced me. Hey, this is my nephew. He owns a solar company. He wants to talk to you about da da da. So I pitch your idea. I say, hey, your solar panels are actually not boosting efficiency, and you're actually wasting money. So imagine you running your gas tank on E all of its life. It obviously wouldn't be as good as if you ran it on full. And when I pitched it like that, she was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So the last guy, I charged him around $299. For her, I charged her the same thing. But I think I actually brought her down because it was my uncle's friend. So I think I brought her down to $199. And it was not as far. So I think I charged him like $299. I charged her $199. So it was around $300 because he was like 50 miles away. She was like 5 miles away. So I calculated the gas and everything, and I had to charge more. So total cost at those guys, $300, $500. And I go out to do the first job. I go to the furthest one first because she was local. So I go to the furthest one first. Mind you, it takes around an hour to get there. I fill up my uncle's truck, put like $40-$60 in gas, and we go out. As soon as we get there, the guy's like not even answering. 10 minutes go by, someone comes out. First I was worried. 2 people come out, he's renting the house out. So he's not home. They see the thing. They see what I'm doing. They're like, okay, cool. It's my first time doing it. I set up, I set the ladder up, I get on the roof, I do the solar cleaning. My uncle gets out the car, he helps me, he's feeding it, he's priming it. He pulls over at a gas station 40 minutes before we got there, and maybe like 15 minutes before, and prime the water gun to make it easier for me when we get there. And I didn't understand how good this was until later when I tried to do it on my own, and I embarrassed myself in front of a homeowner because I didn't prepare, because I didn't understand the quality of preparation. I thought I could just show up to do the job. And I wasn't, and I was rushing to go get the money without preparing first because I was on my own this time. But that's a later story. So when I get to the job, we make probably around an hour, or make around an hour time. As soon as I'm done, I get in the car. My uncle's like, bro, good job. You just made $300 in an hour. And I start smiling because my uncle doesn't really tell me good job unless I'm actually doing something good. My uncle's one of those people who's like straightforward. Like, he's not going to pat you on the back for nothing. And like, so hearing him say that, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, this is a real thing. He shakes me up. The ladies come over, the lady and the guy come over, and they're a couple, and they're like, hey, so we're going to be getting solar too. How can we contact you like that? So they get our information. He's a contractor, so he gets their information. They get his. So that's a potential connection right there. I leave. The guy doesn't pay yet. I just take off. $300 there. And now we're headed to the $200 one. I get there. Now it's even easier because it's already primed up. I know what I'm doing. I'm more confident now. It's an easier house than the other one. I hop on the roof. I knock it out. He's talking to the homeowner there, telling him, like, bragging, like, hey, it's my nephew. He's smart. He created this, and then we already, getting business, and da-da-da. He's bragging, And $200 in less than an hour. This one took like 35 minutes now. So now I made $500 in maybe roughly 2 to 4 hours after creating the idea 2.5 days ago. So here's the problem. Most people create the idea and then they wait 3 to 4, 5, 6 months to think about how they're gonna even order the stuff, spend thousands of dollars ordering the stuff. So they would think of the idea. So person, idea. You get this idea, you wait. You need money. You save. You put money into idea. Idea fails because you didn't you didn't ask your customer what they wanted first. Sometimes people go backwards. They spend all this money and then they try to do the thing and then the thing doesn't work. And it's only because they did it backwards. With me, also, they take so much time to take action. Idea happened Wednesday, collect money Saturday. And this is for a full business. I didn't have a full business. So instead, go idea, collect money. Collect money, spend it on the idea, make more money. So I got the idea, collected money from the idea, spent money. I'm lying because I got some stuff, but the stuff I got was minimal compared to what I actually needed. So let me go back. So I needed probably roughly $2,000 worth of stuff. What did I do? I spent $300 of not even my money, someone else's money, because I had $0. Spent that money. He spent the money. OPM. That's another strategy. OPM. Other people's money. So he spends the money, gets me in business so I can collect money. I then pay him back. And now I'm in business, but I still have all the stuff to keep going to make more money. The kicker here, he doesn't need $500. He makes that humbly, easily. I'm not going to say, he just makes it easily. And he didn't care, so he let me keep that money. He let me keep the money. He didn't care about the gas or anything. He let me keep it. He was just more so excited to see me that he doesn't have to pay me now. He said, this is the best money I could ever spend because I don't have to pay you now. Because he was paying for my lifestyle. Now that I have a business, I can fund myself. He was basically letting me work at his construction job and I would pay for like my living with like work stuff. And then in the process, I became more of an entrepreneur daily because I always know I wanted to make money not working for someone. So at a certain point, I even told him, like, hey, I hate working for you. He's like, I know. He's like, you're supposed to. You're supposed to. Because he's the only other entrepreneur I have in my family besides my mother. So, and my mother is very entrepreneurial. Very. Let's run this back. So I make $500 in a day. It's more than what some doctors make. I did this in 3 days with an idea coming from just a job. So I eliminated this, went from employee, self-employed. I'm now a business owner. And I'm now working on this one until it gets me to this one. And once I become the investor, because most people try to make quick flips in the stock market and think they're going to win. That's not how it works. You make the money outside the stock market, throw it into the stock market, the stock market grows the money. If you could throw 100,000 into index and get a 10%, you make 10 grand off of that a year. So just do the numbers on that. That means if you throw $1 million in, it's probably going to give you at least 100 bands. Okay, so if you throw 10 million in, that means you make $1 million a year without working. Okay, so if you throw 100 million in, you make $10 million a year. So the goal should be to make 100 million. Let's just scratch this. I'm gonna upgrade my stuff, guys. And if you stay with me through this, I promise you, you'll make money. I study hours and hours and hours of entrepreneurship. I have 2 companies at my age. I made thousands of dollars online in the online space and in the real world space now. So meaning like I have an in-person company and I have an online company. I train over 150 people online at this moment. Could be thousands at the time that you're seeing this. But yeah, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. So you make the money from the business. Throw it into investments. Live happy. Because their investments will then pay for your lifestyle. Like most people get the money and then spend it on liabilities. And the liabilities then depreciate over time. So then they're sad because they have to go make more money. Smart people get the money, buy investments, let the investments pay for the lifestyle. They get cash producing assets. And they create something called cash flow, which is going to be the next episode. So if this was helpful, let me know. If you want to understand how you can start your own business, that'll be the next video. Check out the channel, give me advice. And I don't need you to like or subscribe. Just please keep tuning back. And if you want to like and subscribe, I would appreciate it. Take care.